This week, we look at Otisco, New York, where a woman began a trail of ashes and bodies. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, I'm excited this week, Jimmy.
I am
How about
too.
you? I'm pumped. I'm always pumped for Small Town Murder, but this
that
week
teaser
especially.
is fucking great.
This is a crazy story. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. Thank you so much this week for your iTunes reviews and all of your support. It means the world to us. We're doing very well, and it's because of you guys helping us out with that. So please, if you're a new listener or if you haven't done it yet, please get on iTunes and give us a review. 5 stars would be lovely if you could. Just doesn't matter what you say. I like these guys or I like ponies. We don't care. Doesn't matter.
I do like ponies.
I like ponies. Who doesn't like ponies? So get on there, give 5 stars for ponies, and help us out a little bit. We have a crazy story for you this week. Absolutely insane. Hope you enjoyed last week in St. John's, Arizona.
Crazy.
Which, I've been up in that direction, and it's just as bad as it sounds and just as scary as it sounds. This week, we have a very different story. It's a very, very different story. It's a sad, tragic mess of a disaster, and if this ever becomes a movie, Kathy Bates better play this woman. Let's just say that. She better play her. She could play her wonderfully and perfectly. I feel like it's the character from Misery, just out in the world. Not to look at anybody's looks, but she looks a little bit like Kathy Bates
to
where she would play her in the film. And she's like if Kathy Bates' character in Misery was just went outside of her house.
I did love Kathy Bates in Titanic, though. She was fantastic in Titanic.
Was. She's a great actress, Kathy Bates. I mean, she could kill this part. I mean, no pun intended.
Yeah.
She could really crush it. I'm telling you guys. She would crush. But
right.
Let's go to Otisco, New York.
All right.
This is not New York City, guys. I know in the rest of the country, I'm from New York, but in from about an hour outside the city. And everything, basically, I'm from like south of Poughkeepsie. Everything north and west of there, we're pretty much the last little bubble of civilization.
The last stop.
Everything else is West Virginia. It's just what we call, that's what everyone calls the west of the Hudson River is West Virginia, New York. Like, that is a different place.
My mom's from upstate New York in Pulaski and Oswego County. It's a terrible little town. It is so gross.
Upstate New York, it's beautiful country. If you want to go for a weekend and take the boat out.
It's not beautiful, though. Their whole town is on a sulfur well, so when you take a shower,
terrible.
it smells like you're hard-boiling eggs. It's horrific.
No, these places are everything's by a lake. There's 10 trillion lakes. Everything's by a lake, including Otisco, which is on the Finger Lakes of New York, which is in the northwestern central New York area, right by Syracuse. This is northwestern New York. This is cold. It snows feet at a time, that lake effect snow. It's 2.5 hours to Buffalo, 4 hours to New York City, so it's right in the middle up there. It's 30 minutes to Syracuse, which is not exactly the garden center of America. It's a college.
It's not a hustle-bustle concrete jungle.
No, it's a college. And then a lot of these people that we're going to discuss here. It's in Onondaga County, zip code 13159, area code 315. So I'm going to get those stats in there. It's a bigger small town in terms of area. It's about 31.2 square miles, so it's a big area. It's this town originally, all this whole area of central New York, because it's just godforsaken land. Yeah. It is horrific. It's nice, and there's, I guess, good farmland up there, but it's so cold, and it's not a place where you'd be like, let's take the family and settle down.
In the summertime, the humidity is terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. It's awful up there. It really is. And this town was originally part of the Central New York Military Tract. All right. They had to give this land away. They're like, all right, here's what we do. They set aside 2 million acres to basically pay the soldiers of the Revolutionary War when we fought the British. They were like, look, we got to give them something, and we got a shitload of this fucking land up here that
nobody wants.
No one's watching. Well, wait till I know we can't give it to them in December because they're not going to stay. Wait till like May, and then we'll bring them in there. There'll be flowers blooming. They'll think it's great, and we won't tell them what happens.
They'll go crazy.
We won't tell them what happens in October.
Look at all these green fields. This is ours.
And they're going to turn into The Shining with their family up there. It's awful. So, the Congress promised each soldier about 100 acres of land up here, and they set aside these big tracts.
What a gift.
People were still slow to enlist back then because they were like, what are we doing here? We're going to line up and let people just shoot at us from 14 feet away? I don't think so.
But if you survive, you get 100
acres. So, no, they added another 500 acres per soldier.
Wow.
In a barren, godless tundra. Gee, thanks.
My God.
That's how much they really needed people to sign
Fire
up.
sale.
It's a fire sale. So non-soldiers began settling in the area about 1798. It officially formed the town of Otisco in 1806, combined parts of 3 other towns to do this. Religious people were the settlers.
Okay.
They were the the religious school teacher type people. They said there was a quote there when the main settlers came. It's quote, with the Bible in one hand and the spelling book in the other.
Oh boy!
So party people.
Yeah.
They're coming to have a good time. These folks up here. They're super religious farmers. So they're known as the most fun people. If you can get a real religious farmer, they're going to be the life of the party every time. Town legend has it that an Indian family who lived at the foot of the Otisco Lake, the father and all of the children were said to be thickly covered with a coating of hair like that of a bear.
Wow.
That's what
there is a town legend.
That's what we're talking.
That's how you know this town is tiny.
About bear children who live by the lake. This is insanity, man. Watch out at night, the bear children come out. What? The hell is going on here?
You tend to believe that when you see what happens around December, January. You're like, that hair might come in handy.
Yeah, maybe that's just evolution.
Right.
Maybe they've lived here a while.
It's a survival tactic.
They've lived here for 20 years. You just grow. Your whole body covers in hair.
You just stop shaving.
Now, the population here, 2,557. So small town.
Yeah.
That's a tiny town like I said, near Syracuse, which is a bigger town, about a half hour away from Syracuse. Had about 2,000 people as of 1830, but the population slowly declined to less than 900 in 1950.
Wow.
So it just kind of teetered off because it's freezing, and I guess the free land people were, once their kids got it, they were like, I didn't pay for this shit, and I'm not staying here. I don't want it. Okay, I'm taking off. In the 1980s and 1990s, the people came back, and the population's been about the same since 2000. Higher male than female, out of whack ratio, almost 56% male, which is not normal. It's usually about 51% female is the average. Older crowd, too. Median age, 45.4. 37 is the average in the country for... So it's an older town, and it seems like there's less people in the 18 to 44 demographic than average, and more people in the 45-year-old plus demographic, which makes sense. almost 22% of the people in this town are 45 to 54, which is way out of whack.
Yeah.
That is way higher than normal.
Absolutely.
So I don't know why the big baby boom at some certain time, they put fertility drugs in the water.
Or everybody just stopped having kids.
Maybe. I don't know what it is. It feels like the town was like, what if we put pills in the water? Maybe we'll just put stuff in that makes more eggs be produced. Maybe let's just see what happens. And then
in the sulfur well.
Yeah, in the sulfur well. They won't notice because of the sulfur. The smell will cover it. Everything else is about average. More married people than normal by about 10%, which is pretty normal, pretty high. Less single people than normal. Less divorced people than normal.
Weird.
So they're kind of a close.
They just stick together.
They stick together.
Yeah.
This racially, this is a white town.
Yeah.
98.4% white. That is super white.
Yeah.
That's really white out of 2,500 people. 62% is the average. 0.0% black. 12.24% is the average. 0.0% Asian.
Yeah.
5% is the average. 0.98% are 2 or more races. And then your remaining 0.63% are Hispanic. So they have like 3 Mexican dudes there, and 16.9% is the average. They have, listen to this, religious-wise, a little more religious, so I think still the influence of the founders here. 56% religious, 49% average. 36% of them are Catholic, which is normal for the Northeast. Then a bunch of other Christians. 0.87% Jewish.
What?
Holy
we found
shit.
a Jew.
I want to play Hava Nagila. We found some Jews in a small town. Yay! Good for you, Otisco.
That's awesome.
Get some. Every one of these towns we've had a 0.0% Jewish, and we're always like, maybe if you get a couple of Jews, you won't have so much murder. That's all we're saying. Maybe it's an anecdotal, an anecdotal point, but it's possible. But they have a couple, like 3 Jewish people, and good for you. Just slightly more than Hispanic people. So there's like 1 extra.
But if we're covering your town, those Jews didn't stop anything.
They didn't stop this, we'll say. Well, maybe they weren't there then, we'll say, because we're going to go back in time, a drop on this on these crimes here. 1.42% Muslim, which is also rare for a small town. I don't think we've ever had a Muslim person in any of these towns. Politically, 60% Democrats, 38% Republicans. So it's New York State.
Sounds like
about
New York,
right. Yeah. Education-wise, they actually spend about 25% more per student up there, which, good job there. 12.2 pupils per teacher, which is way lower, way less.
12.4 pupils for teachers? You are really getting the teachers' attention.
Yeah, like I said,
awesome.
I remember classes in high school, we had 36, and there was kids sitting on the heaters. So this is great. This is like a third. Way higher education here. Almost 95% have a high school diploma there, which is about 10% higher than average. And four-year grads is up in the average range, about 28%,
All
which
right.
is 29 is the average. Perfect.
They're going over there to Syracuse and getting themselves a college. You betcha.
They have a place to work. And I think a lot of that is people who work at the college or these people, because there's some masters, there's some doctorates. It's all actually in the average range.
Professors that are out there trying to get a little bit of land and try to get some peace and quiet from the college.
Absolutely. Good economy up there. 4.2% unemployment, which is terrific. It's lower than the national average. Average household income is higher than the average, which is terrific.
Yeah.
63,669 is the average. Is their average. 53,000 is the national average. So good shit here. 20% of the people make between 75,000 and 100,000. Which is fantastic.
That's great for that tiny-ass town.
Especially considering the cost of living there.
It's nothing.
Well, it's not bad. 100 being the average, if we always say. Otisco's a 94.
All right.
Everything's about average, except housing is very inexpensive there. It's a 78 as opposed to 100. So median home price there is $145,000, and 185 is the national average.
You're doing all right if you got that kind of cash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
18.88% are vacant homes there. It's a lot of vacants. We're about twice the national average there. Two-bedroom apartment. If you're looking for just settle down, have some temporary, you just got a divorce.
Yeah.
You got to get someplace to hold up for a while. It's $660 a month as the average.
That's great.
Which is about $400 less than the national average on it. 30% of the houses are in the $150,000 to $200,000 range. So it's very middle class.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Comfortable middle class area over here. If we've convinced you to move to Otisco, if you need to be there, there's a few. I have the Otisco real estate report here. You can get a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 840 square foot house on State Route 80 for $68,900.
That's a small house.
It's small. It's a little starter house, but. Yeah, not bad for a young family, maybe something. Got a couple of babies, a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. It's got
live
extra
close
bedroom.
and look at each other and actually be able to watch over the kids.
Yeah, work at the university. That's nice. You can get a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,796-foot square house, which is a big one.
That's a good one.
$240,000.
That's not bad.
Not a bad price at all. 4-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,500 square feet for $155,000. Too. That's your average home right there. That sounds like good stuff. So. You can go there if you can make a decent living. You can work at Syracuse University, maybe. You have a half-decent paycheck. You can buy a nice house, live a little, have a couple extra bucks in your pocket to save, maybe go on vacation.
Live in a close-knit, small town.
Yeah, there's
beautiful.
If you need a couple extra bucks for some things to do in the town, like these things to do that I found in this town. B&Bs, bed and breakfasts, run rampant in this town.
Is that right?
All throughout Vermont, upstate New York, Pennsylvania, all these little towns are full of these.
They're counting on small town tourism.
Oh, they're full of these people that just want to go up there and restart their failed marriage. They get drunk at the winery because there's a bunch of wineries you go to. You go to a wine tasting and then you go back to a B&B and fuck loudly so the people beneath you can hear it because you're in a house. You're in an old house with thin walls.
Hilarious.
Ridiculous. A lot of apple farms to go to.
Yeah.
Also the lake. That's something there. But, guys, if you're going to go to the Blue Hole, which is a local watering hole that every little town has a hole where the kids swing from a rope and jump in a natural body of water. Apparently, kids are dying left and right at the Blue Hole. You want to be careful of that. Apparently, teenagers have been getting hurt and dying, including a 19-year-old named Kayla Fulmer who died in 2012. Apparently, every 5 years or so, somebody croaks in this
Terrible.
thing. Yeah, so the owner of the hole, of the whole farm with the hole is on, Pam Adams. She hangs signs to warn them. She says, quote, "We're trying to save kids' lives here." It's like they just keep jumping in the water.
Do they
can't
say
stop
how they
them.
Die? Are they hitting the bottom, or what the hell are they doing?
Drowning, hitting their head on the thing. I've seen kids back in the day when I was a kid jump into crazy shit. I'm like, what are you doing? There's rocks over there.
You have no idea what's down there. It's a natural body of water.
Yeah,
That's
Johnny
terrifying.
did it. I'll follow him. Who cares? It's like, okay.
We have the Salt River here, and people jump off the cliffs every year and die.
All the time.
Every year.
Idiots. So there you go. And you're an idiot if you die that way. Enjoy. So let's get to the crime in this town here. Property crime, which we've discussed as burglary, larceny, theft, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
That is almost 10% lower than the average, so your shit won't get stolen. But violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault's about 5% higher than the national average, which is very strange. Yeah, I don't get it. They're can't stop from raping and murdering each other, apparently, up here. I don't know what it is.
Well, they jump into fucking natural bodies of water. They're not bright.
And sometimes some people grow up in towns like this, and bad things happen.
All right.
Like Shirley Barron.
Oh, no.
Let's talk about Shirley Barron. Let's go all the way back to 1958.
All right.
Shirley Barron was born February 27th, 1958, or near Otisco, not in Otisco. She's from South Onondaga County.
Okay.
She lived with her mother, her father, They worked nights. The father worked nights. The mother was there. She had 3 siblings. She had an older brother, 3 years older than her, named Peter, a sister who was 2 years older named Joyce, and a sister who was 4 years younger named Lita.
They were fucking, those parents.
They were fucking. See, they're putting shit in the water. I'm telling you up there. Also, too, it's cold and there's not a lot to do. Hopefully their walls are thicker and it wasn't gross like a B&B.
For 7 years, they were just banging away, though.
Absolutely. So the father worked nights there. Like I said, the mother was home with them at night. Now, Shirley has a traumatic childhood. And you feel bad for this kid because any child who goes through this type of life as a child, it's sad. It really is. She had a little traumatic experience at age 6 when her sister's dress caught on fire.
Holy shit.
And it didn't hurt her sister, but I guess it flamed up and it freaked Shirley out.
I'm sure.
And she was just traumatized about it and brought it up for years in therapy. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of therapy in this and a lot of psychiatric evaluations and everything else. So, that was a traumatic experience for her. And then in 1966... basically, Shirley's little sister one night was supposed to stay over at their grandparents' house with her grandmother, with Shirley's grandmother and all the kids' grandmother. Shirley later says she tricked her little sister Lita into letting her go and trade spots with her because she just wanted to go. And her sister was 4, and you can trick a 4-year-old. Yeah. She probably gave her a cookie. She's like, I'll give you this cookie if you let me go to Grandma's.
I'll give you this glass of sulfur water. Absolutely.
It's delicious. Smells like an egg. You'll like it. It's got a lot of protein. So that night there was a leak in the gas furnace exhaust.
Oh, my God.
That she left. It's thought to be caused by the family dog later on, which they never found, but they thought maybe the family dog jostled it. Maybe they should have, but it should have been a little more secure than to be able to be jostled away by a dog.
Right.
But there was a carbon monoxide leak in the home, and all 3 of her siblings died in their beds.
Oh, shit.
Of carbon monoxide poisoning, which is horrific.
She's going to have some guilt for the rest of her life for leaving.
Yeah. So she's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of her mother, Marilyn, survives, actually. She gets out of the house. I don't know how you can get out of the house and have your kids be in there, but I've never been in that situation, so I have no idea. And I'm not going to judge, but you just look and you go, wouldn't you be the one dead in the house as you're pushing your kids out the front door? But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know in the panic of something.
I feel weird. I'm going to get my kids.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how exactly, but she survives. Shirley obviously survives. She's a quarter mile away at the grandparents' house and hears about this, obviously, and it sends her into a bad place, as we could imagine, as any child would. I mean, she was 8 years old. She was 7 when it happened.
And she wasn't even supposed to be there. She was supposed to be in that house.
She was supposed to be in the house. So, the guilt
of it. It's like missing a plane on 9/11.
Exactly. Except you not only missed the plane, you traded and said you let your brother go on the flight. You know what I mean?
You sent your whole family on.
And you guys go. I'm going to stay home. Way worse. way worse than that, yeah. At least then you go, a bunch of strangers died, not me. Okay, good. But this is, well, not that the strangers died or anybody died, but you're happy you didn't die. This, you're like, oh shit, my little sister's dead.
And everybody else
too, except for the mother. Had her first encounters, Shirley did, with therapists within a couple years of this happening. A big shocker. Yeah. Even in the 60s, when mental health really wasn't at its peak, they still were like, let's get this kid checked out.
This kid needs some help.
She's got some problems here. Everybody said that she became a very difficult child after that, in school, at home. To the extreme, the kids began to call her Squirrely Shirley.
Jesus.
As a nickname, which is pretty ruthless, honestly. This poor
not really
girl.
Clever, but then again, 8-year-olds are not very clever.
It rhymes. They found a rhyme for Shirley, so I mean, that's not too bad, I guess. So you got to give them some credit for some attempts at a comedic. I
suppose.
But still, it's horrible. Really, you're picking on a poor girl with dead siblings. And,
what else rhymes with Shirley, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Curly's not an insult, so you can't do that. Her cousin, June Gross, who is around her age and went to school with her, said that she would bite, throw things, and dig her nails into you.
Oh, my God.
She would violently lash out at everybody around her.
She turned into a cat.
She basically turned into a cat woman who was very, very just mean and
just
nasty and violent and just lashing out. I mean, who knows what's going on in her head?
I mean, I get it, though.
That's the thing. You get this as a child. It's horrible. Early on, later on, a doctor named Dr. James Knoll, who's a forensic psychiatrist at Upstate Medical University, later studied Shirley, and he says that most of the time about this whole thing, if there's this sort of thing, kids turn it inward. Yeah. Because she also claims to have suffered sexual abuse as a child, later on after this, which I don't know how that worked, but there's no court cases of it, but we'll take her word for it.
Children generally go introvert because it's hard as a subservient child to lash out. You're not. You have no
exactly.
responsibilities. You don't know how to do anything outwardly.
Not only that, but the death of the siblings and that sort of thing. He said normally this is an inward thing, and they're going to abuse themselves. And lashing out is very rare for this sort of thing, especially for females.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you'll get a male who's like that, but for a young female,
chicks wait till they're in a relationship.
Yeah, there you go. No, for a young female though, not usually going to lash out violently and be whatever. So doctors at the time said that she had antisocial personality disorder, which is can be expected, I think. Also said that she had criminalistic type thinking.
Jesus.
Quote there, which she was as a child.
That's some dark shit to say about a kid.
Antisocial personality disorder, which we all understand. And we get that. Right. And then also to a bit of a scumbag. We're not sure. We don't really trust her.
Here's my layman terms as a doctor. She's kind of a scumbag.
Yeah, that's some criminalistic type thinking. She's probably like this poor, depressed 9-year-old girl. Right. Criminalistic. We don't trust
doctor's
this one.
Essentially calling her a sociopath at 8 years old or 10 or whatever.
He's a pretty good doctor, I think, as we'll get into here.
All right.
I believe he
nailed that one, huh?
He did pretty well with it.
Fucking Yahtzee.
So 1976 we get to. She's about almost 20 years old.
Yeah, 18.
She is her daughter. She has a daughter named Colleen. She has a daughter with a man named Ronald Winters Jr., who she's going to stay with now. They end up getting married the next year in 1977. He's 21 years old. She's 18 at the time. They have a baby. Yeah. Hey, good for you. Nice young family.
What happens in the 70s.
Yeah, let's hope things work out for you. You know what I mean?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Ronald, you go get a job at the plant and, let's do this. So we'll get
hope
a nice
he got
house.
that doctor's report.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't think he did, honestly. Later on, I think he could have wrote his own, probably. But for now, I don't think he's gotten this at all. 1977, she has a son named John.
Oh, she's really lining them up.
Yeah, now she's got 2 kids, Colleen and John. Now, 1978 is her first brush adult-wise with things not being quite right. Okay. Somehow they end up in California, the whole family, and she ends up in a psychiatric care facility in 1978 in California.
I see this as like a vacation, and then she just fucking snapped, and he's like, "That's it. I'm putting you in a place now. I'm not even getting back home."
I mean, I don't. Yeah, we're not getting back in that car. Now, I don't know if she went nuts with the kids. I don't even know. There's no record of what happened. It's just that she was in this care facility in California for a little bit, not very long, and then they moved back to this area. Okay. They moved back to New York. They
went to Disneyland and she fucking snapped. That's my fucking. That's
how
I
tried to stab Goofy with a broken pair of scissors, and they were like, "She needs help. Yeah, this isn't going to work."
Get her
out.
to UCLA Medical Center now.
Jesus, somebody. 1979, they move on back to the East Coast. They go to Teresa, New York. Teresa is right on Lake Ontario. It's further west and north than Otisco. It's up there in a. It's terrible.
It's colder. That's all it is. It's just colder.
It's snows feet. It's awful. It's literally 3 hours from everything. Ugh. You are not. It's 3 hours from Syracuse. It's 3 hours to Buffalo. It's 3 hours to Toronto. Yeah. It's a nightmare. The closest city you're going to get is Montreal. Yeah. So the nearest place you can go to a half decent city, everyone's going to be speaking fucking French at you. Great.
That's
Thanks.
the way you isolate a lunatic, though.
Yeah. When you take her out there.
That's some strategy on the part of her husband.
Absolutely. This is a town just like Otisco. It's 2,925 population. So it's the same sort of deal. Like I said, it's between the St. Lawrence River and Lake Ontario there. 5.5 hours from New York City. It's a bad place to be up in Teresa. Yeah. Not the place you really want to be. But they settle in. Yeah. They're going to have a family. They settle in. They get a house. They're doing their thing. They have a cabin. Everything's fine, right? Everything's going to be good at this point. Yeah, sure. Not quite. No. September 11th, 1979.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well,
the first 9/11.
First 9/11. There's a fire at a friend of Shirley's house in nearby Herman. It's less than 50 miles away. It's a friend of hers. Her friend's 3 children die in the fire.
Oh, shit.
So that is horrific, okay? Awful. September. Yeah. So, I mean, that's sad. Maybe she knows tragedy. Maybe she can comfort this poor woman or something, right? You figure at least, because that's terrible. This poor woman lost her 3 children in a house. House fire is a horrible way
it's
good. I can't even imagine
it's
that.
the most cliche insult that there is. You know what I mean?
It's the worst.
So terrible. I can't even imagine.
No,
and you know your way around that place so well, and you can't get out.
And the fear,
panic and fear would be intense.
You can't get your kids because the woman, she got out, but her kids didn't. So imagine that she's going to be wrecked. It's horrible.
It's the worst.
No, it is. Now, the very next night, September 12th, 1979, there's a fire at Shirley's cabin in Teresa. The cause of the fire is... They went back and forth. First, they thought it was an electrical problem, and then they said it was probably some kindling by the wood stove that came out and set the blaze. They're not sure. Others investigating. Like I said, they come back with electrical fire. We don't know. Either way, both Colleen, who was 3 years old, and John, who was 20 months old, both die in the fire.
Oh, Jesus.
Shirley's 2 kids die in this fire. Shirley gets out. She says Ronald was at work, I assume at the plant somewhere. He's at work, and she was watching TV in the living room when the fire started. And that was that. She got out and couldn't get the kids out, she said. And right after the fire, Shirley and Ron separate.
Of course.
Because I can't imagine the strain that would put on anybody's marriage or relationship. Relationships are hard enough without...
Those kids are what were keeping that marriage together, I got a feeling.
Yeah, after the psych ward, maybe. Or maybe he really loved her, and then this was like, look, this is too painful. I don't know what the deal was, but it was not great.
I'm more cold. I'm going with those kids kept it together. He's like, look, I've got no kids anymore. I'm a mess. I don't need your crazy ass around.
Well, they go on and off for the next 10 years or so.
Trying.
They're going to be, June 1980, they have another son.
Oh.
They have another child. So they're trying to start over. This is Ronald III. They have a Ronald III. And they moved to Otisco at this point, which is not great, as we understand. Whenever we do the town at the end, whenever we end up in that town, bad things are going to happen. We all know this. And here's something bad. Okay, guys, buckle up. November 21st, 1980, Ronald III here, 5 months old, dies of sudden infant death syndrome, which... That's awful. That's the scariest thing in the world.
Right.
Be honest with you, both of my kids, especially the first one, I just knew that was a thing, and I was so paranoid about that because it's nothing you just know. They just stop breathing. That's the scariest thing in the world. I used to literally go in my daughter's room. I couldn't sleep. I'd do it 30 times a night, and I'd just watch her for like 5 seconds, make sure she was breathing, and then I'd leave.
Make sure the chest moves.
Yeah, I literally did it constantly. And this was now they have monitors that are, my son, when he was born, he had monitors that, if they don't move in a certain amount of time, they wake him up. But we didn't have that with the first one, and
that's so scary.
It was scary. So this is the worst thing.
My wife was so scared of it. We slept with our children until, my daughter still climbs in bed with us from time to time. She's 6.
Jesus, my son's graduating from college next week. He's still he goes to ASU.
In there. They sleep perpendicular. They never sleep normal.
He's a business major, but sometimes he gets in there. We're very worried about him. We don't want him to stop breathing. Poor Ronald, as we laugh here. Poor Ronald dies of SIDS, and it's Shirley's mother's birthday. It's Marilyn's birthday, so that's an odd thing that they die on the birthday.
It's a terrible birthday.
It's a terrible birthday. Now, January 3rd, 1981, this is a month and a half later, 2 separate fires break out inside Shirley and Ron's trailer. Both are called arson.
Uh-oh.
Both of these fires. Police don't arrest Shirley.
There's a lot of fire in this woman's life.
There's a lot of fire in this woman's life. A lot.
That's way too much fire in this woman's life.
Way too much fire, absolutely.
And she's living in places that are super flammable, too. Why are you living in a cabin? Why are you living in trailers?
Yeah.
Those are so flammable.
Yeah, if you want to mess up a trailer, just go outside and push it over also. You don't need to set it on fire. That's just
flatten a tire. It'll flip.
That's 2 fires break out on the 3rd. Now, February 10th, a month and a week later, February 10th, 1981, 2 more fires break out at Shirley's trailer. She's arrested for arson.
I would hope so.
They said, okay, now coincidence is coincidence, but, this is a little...
Sparky.
Yeah, this is getting a little ridiculous there. What was I going to call it?
Squirrely Shirley?
No, not Squirrely Shirley. I had a fire pun locked and loaded for you, and it's not there. I'm sorry about that.
I just hit Sparky. That's all I've got.
Sparky will work for now. We'll do that. So November 9th, 1982, she is still underneath the February arson charges from the year before. They still haven't gone to trial with that yet. Another fire breaks out at her trailer. Same trailer. She's arrested, charged with arson again. Again. So this is insane with these fires. Shirley is, from 1979 for the next 20 years, she is near at least 17 fires. And at least 9 of them are ruled arson, depending on the investigator.
Wow.
She's around a lot of fire.
17.
Yes. 1984, she has another daughter, Joy. So let's have more kids.
Yeah.
This is insane. So now she's got another kid, Joy.
But she's got one kid. You know what I mean? Why is her husband's nuts?
Too. It's with Ronald Winters Jr. Save one.
He's got to stop impregnating this woman.
1985, Shirley has another daughter, Ashley. So now she has more kids keep coming. This is scary as can be because we don't know how she's obviously unstable and she's setting fires left and right.
Crazy.
And she's got 3 dead kids and it's a little sketchy how these things happen. So She's lost 2 in a fire already. I mean,
she's burning up the sack.
Yeah, it's terrible. So November 12th, 1986, this is a year after Ashley is born, there's a large fire in the Winters apartment building.
Okay.
Large fire, causes undetermined. Shirley's not charged.
Now she's in an apartment building.
Other people in danger. Neighbors, several neighbors barely got out alive.
Yeah.
So she almost killed more people. Now, in 1987, she has another son. Another one. She's got 3 kids now. 3. So there's 6 altogether. 3 that are still alive. This is the last child she has with Ronald. They soon divorce after this. They divorce in 1988, and she moves to Syracuse with the 3 children. Imagine being that guy and giving your 3 children, saying, here, go live with mommy, and then going to sleep every night not knowing.
How the fuck does she get full custody?
I have no idea.
I would be fighting tooth and nail to keep those kids away from her.
I'm going to go ahead and call him at this moment. We'll give him a break in a minute, but at this moment, he's not a great dad.
Right.
Unless it's because I didn't read anywhere where, there was a 2-year-long court battle where Ron did everything on the face of the earth and worked 3 jobs to pay lawyers to get the kids away from this lady who has killed their other 3 kids. Probably.
Who just loves fire.
Who loves fire. Now, early 1989, they're in Syracuse. The family, her and the 3 kids. Shirley is arrested for arson.
Oh, my God.
In Syracuse. She goes on trial in mid-89. The first jury is deadlocked. Prosecutors say they'll retry the case, which good, I would say. So, because she's got a lot of history of being around fires.
And there's 3 children you got to keep safe.
Exactly. Now, as she's awaiting her second trial, there are fires at 2 separate houses where Shirley lives. She has some stuff here and some stuff here. She's
stays doing
at
great.
2
she got 2 places
with people. She's like always staying with a family or an aunt. I don't know who would let them stay. Who would let this lady stay at their house?
I don't have fire insurance, lady. You can't stay here.
I'm sorry. I would like my house to be intact when I'm done with it. Thank you. This is ridiculous. So she's awaiting the second trial. There's 2 separate fires where she lives, and then another fire in her aunt's garage. This is while she's awaiting trial for arson. She's had 3 more fires happen.
Just lighten it up.
It's insane. Lighten it up. Sparky at her best here. And so they have the second trial. So you figure, good God, how much evidence can you have? And also, too, now they're like, Jesus, we got to put her away.
Everywhere she goes, shit lights on fire. Let's put her in jail.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
She's acquitted by the jury in the second trial. Actually acquitted.
How did they do that?
Not a hung jury. Acquitted.
They just go, no, it wasn't her.
Arson is very hard to prove.
Yeah, I can imagine that's true because you got it. The fingerprints burn up, so all you got is circumstantial that she's around.
It's if you read, I've brought this book up before, The Homicide, The Year on the Killing Streets by David Simon, who's the guy who made The Wire and made Homicide, Life on the Street, and all that shit. He wrote a book where he followed the Homicide Department of Baltimore in 1988, and basically when the phone rings and the homicide guys pick up the phone, and they're not thinking, oh, let's go get some justice.
Right.
They're like tired. They're on a double shift, and they're thinking, let's get an easy one.
Yeah.
They want what they call a dunker.
Yeah.
That's like you show up at the house, there's a dead guy, and there's a woman in the front yard holding a bloody knife going, that motherfucker told him not to do that ever again. That's a dunker. She's got blood all over, knife in her hand, he's dead, put cuffs on her, boom, done, clear it off the board. Because they have a big board with red names and black names for, cases that are open and cases that are solved.
Gotcha.
The one that's the worst is a fire.
Yeah.
They all say, that's like, the reporter would ask them all, like, what's the worst one? And every single one said fire.
Yeah.
Fire's the worst.
Burns
You can't tell shit.
away. Yeah.
Burns things away, burns evidence away. You can't.
The only thing you know is where it starts and where it ended.
Yeah,
that's it.
The worst things are like a guy in an alley just laying there, like a drug dealer in an alley because there's no physical evidence outside is bad. But that's the worst is a house fire.
Gotcha.
There's never, and you can't prove it too. There's times when the arson investigators will be saying this is arson, and the prosecutors are unsure, and they don't want to lose a case, so they're like, this is unclear, and you can. Everybody, it's really easy to get across to a jury that it was an accident. It's really hard to get across that you accidentally shot somebody.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get across you accidentally cut somebody's throat or something like that.
Raped and murdered somebody.
Exactly.
That's impossible.
That's hard. But a fire?
Yeah.
Because people think about it. What if I was in bed and my house caught on fire and then I got out and somebody died and they said I did it? Like, how would I?
You don't want to fry for that. You don't want to go to prison forever for that.
People generally give because it's really hard to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And a house fire, so that's what happens. Now, November 12th, 1989, a fire starts in the basement storage room of Shirley's house on Willis Avenue in Syracuse. Yeah. She says that she smelled smoke and got 2 of her kids out, but claims that she lost track of Joy, 5-year-old Joy. Joy ends up escaping on her own.
Good for her.
Thank God. So none of her kids died in this one. But Ronald's mother, her mother-in-law, ends up later telling police that Joy told her that Shirley ordered her to stay in bed and not come outside. She said, "You stay in here." And
oh my God!
She literally wanted one of her kids to die.
What a terrible person!
What mental, thing? But that was. We'll get into some of the psychiatric reasons for why she's doing this.
Joy was 5.
Joy was 5
My
years old.
daughter's 6. When she tells my wife something that I did, my wife believes it because a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old are very similar. They just tell you what happened. They're like parrots. They just shit out the information that they know.
Your daughter's mouthy too. Like your daughter's great. Like, she's like strong. Like if the house was burning and your wife said stay in bed, she'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm getting out of here." She'd walk right out the door. Get the hell out of my way. She'd push her aside.
This shit's hot and it stinks in here.
I'm
out of here.
This is terrible. What you're doing? Bring me some goldfish too, because out in the front yard, I like a snack while I watch a fire. You know what I'm saying?
That's my daughter. You're right.
Exactly. Luckily, that was Joy too.
Yeah.
Apparently, she's like, "I'm not staying in here."
I did Joy.
Absolutely. So January 6th, 1990, a fire. Mm-hmm. Another fire.
Jesus.
This is weeks later. Another
How do
fire.
How
do they not just? I don't even know what to do with her. That's the thing. What do you even do with this person?
But if I'm on a jury and somebody just lines up all these fires in a row and says, and she's the closest person to all of them.
Always there.
I'm in.
Always there.
Send her ass to jail.
How many house fires you been around, Jimmy?
None.
In your whole life.
Fucking none.
None. And I know people whose houses have burned down. Guarantee you that's the only one they've ever been around. That's it.
Fucking none.
I mean, they say lightning, the odds of getting struck. Imagine the odds of your house just spontaneously bursting into flames.
In the fucking basement.
Everywhere you go.
Every house you ever lived in caught on fire.
So you try a cabin, that bursts into flames. You try a trailer, that bursts into flames.
Apartment building.
Apartment home, that bursts into flames. Regular house, bursts into flames. I'll move in with my aunt. Fuck, the basement's flammable. Everything. It's insanity. So anyway, fire. Fire is also ruled arson. Burns down Shirley's home. Family court steps in, finally removes the 3 kids.
Thank God.
And gives custody to Ronald.
Good.
I usually want the mother to have custody of the kids. Not in this case. I want Ronald. I don't care if Ronald is a crackhead who brings, I don't even care what Ronald does.
Right.
At least they're not going to burn to the ground.
Anything short of child molestation,
absolutely,
give him to Ronald.
Anything short of severe abuse, they're better off with them.
Go to Ronald.
I'm sorry. So, Shirley admits herself to the Hutchings Psychiatric Center and only stays a few days. I don't know if that was to try to not get in trouble for the fire. She's like, I'll just check into an institution. They won't know where I am. She gets out. That was only a few days. This was January 1990. March 18th, 1990, a 2-story apartment building that Winters is living in catches on fire and burns to the ground on Lakeview Avenue. Winters gets out. Also getting out is a young couple with a 22-month-old baby who were burned and barely got out alive.
Oh, my God.
She almost killed a family on this one. They lived beneath her in this apartment. This lady is a nightmare at this point.
She's a devil.
This is a bad person. I don't even know if it's a bad person. She's a sick person, too, on top of that. Because that's the thing about someone like this.
Is that she's so mentally ill, and nobody's diagnosing it or nobody's just forcing treatment on her.
And as I'm doing all this research, I want to give her a pass sometimes because I'm like, God, that childhood, what she went through and all that. But I'm like, no, because you know what? We've had all these people go through. Right. I am sure our Hawkins, Texas guy there, I'm sure he had a horrible childhood.
I guarantee it.
Guarantee you he had an abusive, horrible, just undescribable childhood.
Right.
But once you kill 3 people, that shit doesn't matter anymore. It's
Goes
not about
right
you
the
anymore.
Fuck away.
So that's how I feel bad for this woman, and I understand that maybe she can't help it. But at this point, I don't give a shit if she can help it or not. I just want her off the street completely.
Just to save society, for fuck's sake.
And her kids and everyone else's kids.
Yeah, the children, everybody's children. It's terrifying.
Keep kids away from her. So April 10th, 1990, she's indicted for arson and reckless endangerment for the Willis Avenue fire that we mentioned from a couple months ago. 1990 still. She's mid-1990. She visits the graves of her first 2 children, then tries to jump off the St. Lawrence County Bridge. So that's a interesting little tidbit there. Not unsuccessful.
It didn't work.
Unsuccessful.
Just went for a dip.
Nope. Yeah, then just a little dip and swam out and went, shit, still alive. Well,
water usually fixes fire. I'll jump in here.
At least I'm not flammable now. I'll burn something. So September 21st, 1990, a fire breaks out in the garage at Winter's aunt's home that she's staying in. October 5th, a couple weeks later, a fire in the same garage.
God damn it.
Same garage. Burns the entire garage and house to the ground this time. Completely burns her aunt's house down. Yeah, finally. Hey, there we go.
There you go. You got one.
It's like the 3rd time she set her aunt's house on fire. Why is her aunt letting her back in?
Yeah.
At all.
And why is there anything that can light fires in the house?
Anywhere.
Why is there a lighter?
Anything.
You don't smoke anymore. If you smoke and you invite her into your house, guess what? You quit smoking because nothing.
You're like, hey, no,
there was no fire to be in this house.
None. I don't want her to have anything around her.
No.
And luckily, later on, we get into this a little bit.
Spray my walls down with the garden hose every night.
Outside. Yeah, like you live in a wildfire zone. You're like, they could be coming. I'm out here with the hose. Spray down the yard just to make sure. Jesus, that's scary to think of.
Terrifying.
September 22nd, 1990, Winters is arrested for making harassing phone calls to her neighbor. What the hell is this about now? I don't know.
Now?
She's just out of her mind. During the arrest, she assaults a deputy and damages a patrol car.
Oh, my God.
And she's also charged for that. Because they've had it with her at this point. They're like, we're not screwing around with you anymore.
She's a goddamn menace.
And she doesn't have 3 kids in the house anymore. So now when they show up, she's just a wild, ranting, crazy lady. And they're like, fuck it, lock her up.
It lights shit on fire.
Yeah, they don't feel bad for her. Yeah. So November 14th, 1990. This is all 1990. God. This is a big year for her. Winters is arrested and charged with setting a fire at the Camillus bowling alley.
Now she's lighting public places on fire.
She's just lighting anything on fire. And they're said, too, there's so many fires like within a 50-mile radius that like they suspect
I feel like maybe everybody was like, nobody smokes anymore. So then she was like, where can I get a lighter? Bowling alley, people smoke like a motherfucker.
I'll give you a pack of matches with your shoes. Yeah. Hey, here's a pack of matches for you. There you go. You want a pitcher of beer with that? All right. That's what it is, man.
Lucky Strikes are on the bowling center.
There you go. Go
grab
it
on the console.
Non-filter. So October 1991, she is in court. Mm-hmm. She is actually convicted of arson.
Good.
And sentenced to 1 to 3 years in state prison for arson. Which, it's a start.
At least she's off the street.
At least maybe she'll get some help.
Yeah.
That's a thing, possibly. November 1992, they parole her. She's in jail for a year.
What?
She's in jail for a year, but while she was in there, she told counselors that, she'd like to stay on her medication and not, kill people and burn shit to the ground. Right. But she doesn't because a few reasons. One, they make her feel overweight. She can't afford them, and even if she could, she'd forget to take them anyway because she's got a bad memory. So she's like, I feel a little chunky, and I'm too poor, and it slips my mind. So who cares? Just any reason I can.
Those are 3 very valid reasons not to take a fucking pill.
All different reasons, completely. None of those. It's all 3 of those reasons. So she could never get a pill down her.
Those are the worst reasons not to keep the public safe, apart from not being able to afford it. But let's
just forget.
Listen. As a taxpayer, if that person lives in my town, I will gladly, every dime I send to the state, every paycheck, give it all to her for the fucking medication.
I'll go pick up her prescription and put it in her mailbox. I don't give a shit. I'm not going in the house because I could be on fire.
I'll bring her some fresh Evian so she doesn't have to take that sulfur water down with it.
No shit. She'll need that. So mid-90s now, she's out of prison. She's a little kind of quiet for a while there. I think she might be staying on her meds some in the mid-90s, except for a couple of charges of larceny and harassment, which, you can't expect her to be perfect. Yeah. Who has 5 years that go by when you're not charged with larceny and harassment? It's better than arson, right?
Yeah.
Happens to me all the time. It's like, well, it's not arson, and everyone's like, hey, good job, and then it's fine. You know what I mean? That's how it works. So 1997, she tells a psychiatrist that when she looks for a new job, whenever she's out in the job market, she makes sure that the workplace has a quiet room so that she can go somewhere and be alone and respond to her hallucinations.
And light fires.
Respond to her hallucinations.
Jesus.
So not only does she have hallucinations, according to her, but she needs to respond to them.
As a hiring leader, are you somebody that sits down in your chair when you're hiring them at an interview?
Interview me.
Have you listen, tell me about your work history and your requirements to work here.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I understand it's a job interview and this is highly irregular, but I have a question for you, actually. No, it's not about the vacation or the pay or anything like that. You don't happen to have a quiet room, do you?
We do have one down the hall. What would you need that for?
No one else will come in, right?
No.
Close it,
it's all yours.
Well, I get these hallucinations, and I need to. What I do is it's like a secretary. I take messages all day, and about 2 o'clock, I go in and just respond to all of them. It's like I got to return my emails.
Take messages.
I got to return my emails right
notes
here.
on the walls, and I just one by one, I knock them all down.
That green demon that comes and visits me about 6 every morning. I got to get back to him. He's been bothering me for 2 days now.
You know what? On the tip of a match is what? Do you know what that substance is on the tip of a match?
Sulfur.
That is sulfur, my friend.
No.
All that she's been ingesting. Her vagina is a flamethrower. That's what's going on.
All of hers. Everyone up there. People are shitting fire.
Just spraying fucking fire.
Yeah.
That's
everyone
what's
else
going on.
is too. They can control it. Control it. God damn it. This lady.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. So. On mental institutions, at least 7 times she was readmitted to a mental care facility within 2 days of being released, usually high and or drunk, too. She'd get all fucked up and come on back. She was in psychiatric wards up at least 28 times. 28 times.
Oh, my God.
That's a lot of in and out, man. That's a lot.
I've been through a lot of fucking therapy in my life. I've never been to psych wards 28
times.
Not even in my entire life.
No. So April 27th, 1997, Shirley's mother, Marilyn, her home is burned to the ground.
Of course it is.
Her cousin barely gets out alive.
Yeah.
Shirley is arrested. Yeah. This is a little too close here. She pleads guilty on this one.
Good.
They medicated her up. Even admits that she knew her cousin was in the house when she set the fire and was trying to kill her cousin, she said. So whatever. She's sentenced to 8 years in prison.
Good.
Off
the street.
She needs to be in prison here. Now they get a look at her a little bit, and this Dr. James Knoll that we discussed before, the forensic psychiatrist, he says the fires, basically all the fires are about the gas leak. He says it's all an attempt to repeat and master. People do this psychologically. They repeat scenarios to try to master them, but they're not going to master them. They just need to repeat them.
She's so sick that she's recurring the event that traumatized her, trying to fix it?
That's the thing. They don't know. They don't even know why they're doing it. It's called repetition compulsion.
Wow.
It's an absolutely a thing. It happens a lot. It had some killers do it. Yeah. It's a thing they try to master. He says Shirley repeats her own tragedy, but to a severity and magnitude that's rarely seen. Said normally this would not go on for 30 years, escalating these fires, killing children, all this sort of thing. Now, while in jail, she hasn't been charged with any murders yet.
Wow.
While in jail, she tells prison psychotherapist that she has 9 personalities.
I believe her.
That's not far off here. Later on, she says it was just she was trying to appease the psychotherapist into whatever. I think she was just playing around, was bored. Also says that she fears dying on the anniversary date of her sibling's death. Every year. She says, quote, I've always felt each year that on this day I would die. It is scary. It would be fate. Jesus. So she's just, her mind is messed up.
Can you imagine being married to that? Jesus.
Married to, I can't imagine that's your mother. Oh. That's your mother. That's the person you look to. And just imagine her being her neighbor. That's terrifying because she's going to burn your house down.
You got to ask her for sugar.
Oh man, no, thank you. I'm good. I'll just take some sulfur out of the drain.
Hope you got a lot of baking soda. That shit puts out fires.
Yeah, you'd need it.
Yeah.
So, forensic psychiatrist again. We're here with James Knoll. He said that Winters has a borderline personality disorder at this point in '97. He says, "quote At this point in time, our treatment is not that great. What we can do is kind of therapeutically hold their hands through the rough times and hope." Basically, borderline is, you're pretty fucked up. There's not much we can do about it. Over the years, she was diagnosed schizophrenic, antisocial, dissociative, you name it. She was diagnosed 28 things. I mean,
any personality disorder, she's got it.
Yeah, but she's functional enough to not be held involuntarily unless she's a danger to others, which I personally think she's always a danger to others. But
absolutely.
Whatever. 2004, she's paroled.
What?
So it's been 7 years.
Okay.
So, I mean,
I guess.
Whatever. She's quickly reincarcerated, though, for violating the terms of her parole for having a lighter.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Good.
Thank you. Glad somebody found that.
How about that? A Bic puts her ass back in prison. That's crazy.
Perfect. That's she should anything near flames.
That's how fucked her life is.
If she walks by a candle shop, they should lock her ass up. I don't even care if they're not lit. Just they're going to be lit at some point. Lock up. So June 14th, 2005, she's released again from prison, finally out of that. Now, she's at the Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester in 2006. She is claiming she's hearing babies' voices, and when she turns around, there's no babies there, obviously. Her therapist notes that Winters feels compelled to bang her head against the wall and stab sharp objects into her legs. So now she's kind of...
She's a fucking party.
I would say so. So, November 2006, she is staying with a family friend of hers. Yeah. These people are, the people whose house burned down the day before hers in September 11th, 1979. Right.
And they lost their 3 kids.
These are the grandparents. They're the grandparents of these people that she's staying with, okay? That's hard to whatever, but they're related to those people, so it's a family friend. She's staying at their house in Pierpont. Also staying at this home while the grandparents are watching this child is a 23-month-old child named Ryan Rivers, who is these people's children that we just mentioned. So she's staying with the family. Ryan's parents, like I said, are the cousin of the kid's parents who died.
Gotcha.
That's the way it breaks down. So anyway, Ryan ends up drowning in the bathtub while under Shirley's care.
Okay.
So anytime Shirley's around and a kid dies, shit's suspect, right?
Yeah, start investigating.
They're investigating. Now, a week later, she's pulled over in her pickup truck for swerving. Mm-hmm. Her shirt is torn up, and she has deep scratches on her wrist. The officer gets to the window, and she tells the officer, screams at the top of her lungs, the evil has to stop. The evil is trying to get out. Wow. Wow.
Have you got a light?
Holy shit, yeah. Have you got a light? You got a match? Oh, so also she said she's been hasn't been taking.
She's telling him that she's got to pee. By the way,
that's something. Yeah,
the evil's got to get out.
Oh man, she had some nasty Taco Bell the night before. She's like, it's got to come. Also, she said that she hasn't been taking her schizophrenia medication, and she was trying to get to the Ogdensburg mental health facility, but got lost. She says, I'm trying to get to the mental hospital. Yeah. He's like, that's a good place. Let's go there.
I'll rush you there.
So March 2007, authorities exhumed the bodies of Shirley's two children, Colleen and John, from the 1979 fire, and the body of Ronald III, the SIDS victim, in 1980. So, March 16th, 2007, knowing that this is going to happen, she tries to commit suicide, ends up being hospitalized.
Boy.
Absolutely. Now, during the exhumation, authorities do full testing, autopsies, the whole deal. They find that Colleen and John, the first two kids, had blunt force trauma to the head before they burned.
Wow.
Also, that Ronald III had been suffocated. He did not die of SIDS.
All right.
So now we're on to something.
Now we got a murder.
Now we got
Three
a couple
of
murders from Otisco.
Right.
So, March 28th, 2007, Shirley is indicted in Onondaga County for the murder of 5-month-old Ronald III in 1980. The judge rules that she made some incriminating statements to the police while they were interviewing him. The judge throws them out of court because I guess she asked repeatedly for a lawyer and said she didn't want to talk. She wanted a lawyer, and I guess they kept
small towns.
They kept pounding on her, and didn't go with procedure. So they lost some incriminating statements, but that's okay because also September 19th, 2007, she is also indicted in St. Lawrence County for the November 2006 drowning of Ryan Rivers.
Good.
The other child. So she's charged with second-degree murder on that one.
We got 4 kids dead, and they're all probably her fault.
I think we have 8 kids total that are probably her fault.
But I mean 4 that they're going after her for.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they're going after her for 2. They're not going after. They do not charge her for the first
for
2, Colleen and John.
Okay.
They do not, because they said that with the fire, it's hard to prove.
Gotcha.
And it's a hard one, but these 2 they can prove scientifically. Mary Lou Winters, who is Ronald Winters Jr.'s mother, she said of her son that he's, quote, always slept with one eye open, worried about Shirley, like even when they're not together. Yeah. He's worried about her finding him and burning the house down, basically. Says about the charges, quote, at first I thought it was a psychiatric problem, but I think she's too calculating. So she's saying, like, we thought she was crazy, but then we said, no, she's evil. We figured it out. No.
We thought she was crazy, but she's the worst person ever.
Evil, terrible person. Yeah. Now, April 21st, 2008, Shirley accepts a plea deal for first-degree manslaughter for the death of Ryan Rivers. Onondaga District Attorney William Fitzpatrick said he was happy with the deal, which will probably be about 20 to life she's going to get in this whole situation.
All right.
She will also plead to the death of her son, Ronald Jr., Ronald III, to first-degree manslaughter also. She'll basically take the exact same deal, and the deal is if she does that, then both sentences will be concurrent.
Okay.
So she doesn't have to
still a life sentence.
We'll see.
I mean,
not really.
You know what I mean? 20 to life is still technically a life sentence unless,
It's a good chunk.
Right.
It's a healthy amount.
Yeah.
It's more than any of these kids had.
Right.
Longer than Ryan
all
Rivers
of them combined.
And, yeah, that's true. So April 24th of this year, she pleads to Ronald's death, admitted to trying to seriously injure him by smothering, because that's what manslaughter is you have to admit that you tried to
hurt them. Right.
You tried to hurt them, and it resulted in their death.
Right.
Basically, but didn't intend their death.
Right. Whatever bullshit hoop they're jumping through.
Exactly.
Right.
Whatever. Get her in jail. Who cares? It doesn't matter. So June 2008, Winters gets in trouble in prison.
Good.
She is in prison. Good for her. What she does is not good. This is what I mean. This woman is horrible. Winters is in trouble for kicking a fellow inmate who is pregnant with twins in the stomach.
Oh, my God.
And screaming, quote, I hope your babies die.
What a bitch.
This lady's fucking horrible.
What a horrible bitch.
She loves to kill children.
I mean,
she needs to fucking kill children. And I know why you're saying it. It's not a matter of, it's not a gender thing.
Right.
You're killing fucking children.
What
you're
a
an
bitch.
asshole.
Yeah.
You're just an asshole. That's fucking ridiculous. Unreal. I hope your babies die. What are you, fucking psychotic? Clearly.
That's threatening. You're obviously stating exactly what you want to do. What a bitch.
I hope your baby, while she's kicking her in the stomach. So,
Jesus.
And she's a bigger girl, too. So, I mean, I don't know if the other girl, but she was pregnant with twins. She probably wasn't that physically stout to be fighting at that moment. June 16th, 2008, she's sentenced to 20 years in prison for Ryan's death, Ryan Rivers. On June 17th, the next day, she's sentenced to 8.5 to 25 years for Ronald's death. To be served concurrently, she is eligible for parole in 2025 when she'll be 67 years old. And I hope that
that's
she doesn't
not old
live that
enough.
long. No. Now, there's an appeal process here. The 20-year sentence for the one murder was, for the Ryan Rivers murder, one of the condition of that was that she's not allowed to appeal. That was the condition of that. But for Ronald III's death, that was not in the deal. It's a different deal.
So she can fucking appeal that?
She does appeal that. She's saying that the state should have ordered competency hearings for her and not let her take these deals. She also claims that her lack of competency caused her to agree to an appeal-free plea in the first place. She shouldn't have agreed to a charge with no appeal possible. That's what she's saying. On court rules that the ramifications were explained and the ruling is affirmed, and you can fuck off and get out of here and go back in there. Go back to prison where you belong here. Now, if you can't get enough of Shirley Winters and you want to check out a book on her, there's a book on Kindle. It looks pretty shitty, honestly.
On Kindle?
It's a Kindle book that's for sale. It's called Shirley Winters, Serial Killers, Unauthorized and Uncensored. And it looks like just 28 pages of exploitative bullshit with bad research. It's 28 pages, and those are with pictures and videos. So I guarantee you we did way more research than they did to write a book. So, and this is a 1 week thing for us.
How funny is that it's on Kindle, and that's short for kindling. You know, it's a root word of kindling.
Perfect. It has one review on here, and it's a 5-star review. So who knows? That was probably the author.
Somebody enjoyed it.
I like my book. Right. Yeah, so whatever.
I like my own book.
It's a Kindle's. Now, also, do not confuse this woman with Shelley Winters.
Yeah,
the great old actress who, if you search Shirley Winters in any capacity, murder or anything else, Shelley Winters comes up for most of the time because Shelley Winters in 1980 wrote a tell-all book called Also Known as Shirley.
What?
So, Also Known as Shirley. She wrote in 1980 as this woman was killing children across upstate New York. So,
whoops-a-daisy. I guess
Shelley
she didn't
Winters.
hear.
Shelley Winters is dead, but still, don't besmirch her name.
No.
And for the love of God, one more person I would like you to please don't take it out on them. There's a poor woman named Shirley Winters, who is a real estate agent with the Coldwell Banker in Batavia, Ohio.
Buy a house from her.
If you're in Batavia, Ohio, call up, find Shirley Winters and buy a house from her, because I guarantee you a couple of people have not bought houses from her because of her name, which she has nothing to do with.
She's close enough to New York for it to be confused.
Yeah, so this poor woman, so help her out there. That's Shirley Winters.
My
Her
goodness.
first death in Otisco, New York, with her son.
Fingers
that's the
crossed
one.
she doesn't get paroled.
Yep, that's the first one she got convicted of. So we went with that as our small town there, and that's where she kind of caused a lot of havoc. Also, that's there, and I don't want to move up there. I don't want to move to the Finger Lakes.
God,
and I'm
no.
really happy she's in prison.
The weather scares me off enough.
And I want to see this movie with Kathy Bates. Let's just say that. Now we're going to get into some shout-outs here really quick. Once again, iTunes reviews are huge. If you want to help us out at all, please get on iTunes, get on there, 5 stars, and tell us whatever. Like we said, you like ponies. It doesn't matter.
Keep us on the charts. You guys have done such a great job these past weeks keeping us up. We haven't dropped once.
Thanks, guys. We work really,
We've been on it the entire time.
Thank you. We work really, really hard, and to get positive feedback like that really makes it worth it for us. So thank you guys so much. And if you want to make it a little more lucrative for us, you can get on patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you can leave a donation. That's our other podcast, and it all goes to us. Also, too, if you want to do a one-time deal, our PayPal is crimeinsports@gmail.com.
You betcha.
Other than that, please follow us on social media and leave reviews and Patreon like these fine people did. You can follow us on Twitter at SmallTownPod.
On Twitter it's at MurderSmall.
That's MurderSmall. On Facebook, it's SmallTownPod.
Right.
Get on there, and like these fine folks did here.
Phoebe Miller, she's a blogger in England. She has a website called soyou'regettingmarried.com. I'm assuming that it's a blog about when you're getting married.
She's been tweeting like crazy. Thank you.
Go there and check out her blog.
Totally.
Henry Hervela in Finland. Hervela or Hervela? There's 2 dots over the A. It's very I don't know how to pronounce that. Hervela. All right.
Hervela.
Liz Clark, Lisa Michelle, Shirley Clatworthy, Benji at Ben Adia Theater in Cleveland, Ohio. Thanks, brother. Autumn Blackford, Emily Flanagan, Megan Kenahan, and Haley in South Dakota, who enjoyed your Dunkin' Donuts runs on cemetery murder. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for interacting. Thank you all for paying attention and giving shit about us. It feels fucking great to be able to have you guys interacting. It's awesome.
We can't thank you guys enough, and we love doing this, and we're not going anywhere.
No.
So we'll be here. Make sure also to check out our other podcasts, Crime and Sports.
Yes.
You don't have to like sports. It's just like this. Also, True Crime. You can catch me on P.S. I Hate This Movie, where we make fun of bad romantic comedies and give them the business that they deserve. So please do that. Follow us. You want to give them your social media?
Yeah, I'm at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Snap at me. Tweet at me. It's fun. I enjoy it.
At Jimmy P is funny, and James Pietragallo. If you want to look in the show description, copy and paste that name into a box and find me, that'd be great. But that's our show, guys. We will see you next week. Thank you guys so much. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.